him imam, the one who stands out front as the speaker. Because imam mean the one who's out front. But who is he out in front of? He is out in front of the congregation, vexing the public grievance to tell the story so the people will know that they've been lied to, deceived by the false deceivers, and this is how you uncover a motherfucking funk in the open.
So is he telling us this? Is he telling us the story, telling us that they not telling us the truth, or is he basically keeping a lie going in the public?
Both.
And we supposed to pretty much catch it.
Okay, so in order to live, in order to have any semblance of life, you got to perpetuate the lie, right? But if you want to get your people free, you got to slide the truth in the middle of this well-dressed lie. So when we were dragons, when we call ourselves dragons, that means master. But this bitch is literally a dragon. They call him an archon. She is the ruler of the archons. And the archons is the rulers of the darkness of this world. But we don't mean darkness as in 666 carbonated darkness, which is melanin. We mean darkness as in lower vibrational entities that keep all of our vibrations low so that we can never see the deception, because we can never get our eyes above the level of the deception. So that's why they always kept us understanding and keeping us from overstanding.
Or understanding.
Right. Once you understand, you omnistand. That means you know from a God's view. Once you know from your God perspective, they can't even trick you if they want to. Right?
And then that's where, for example, you talk about it all the time, where you say how they deceive us with the English language because a lot of the words have multiple meanings.
Yep. And that's what Elijah Muhammad was talking about when he said the tricknology of the enemy. The tricknology is the knowledge of the trickery. Right? And the trickery is given to us in a stage play called the Republic. The stage play called The Republic was written by Plato, right? So when Plato wrote The Republic, he instituted something called politics, which is really polytricks in the trick knowledge of the enemy. So if you unveil his politics, you split him right in the split tongue. As a girl, Akila Kat say they speak with forked tongue. That's what our ancestors always told us. What do that mean? That means everything they say have more than one meaning, and if you only know one meaning, you're not gonna never see past the deception. You need to know both meanings of what they're talking about, right? So even when they talk about they God, they always talk about and man. That means they God has nothing to do with man. This is
wordplay.
So the Bible is a book about how they converted the wrong gender into the wrong deity on the wrong planet, and then turned everybody's perception upside down and backwards so we can't see.
Making people think that it's a man and not a woman.
Yep. So they want us to believe that the Christ is a man, right? But when you trace the language back to the Greek, it's spelled I-E-S-O-U-S, and it's pronounced Isis or Isis. So if it's Isis in Greek, why it ain't Isis in English? Because the power is in the name according to the Christians, right? So why did you change the name?
To deceive us.
To deceive us. To give us an artificial semblance of power and to put our trust in some shit that don't exist. In order for the one that do exist to escape the hypnosis of life that they putting us under. They know the truth, so that if the hypnosis won't work on them. It'll only work on somebody who doesn't know the truth. And once you become well aware of what the truth is,
can't unsee it.
right? So now this is where they was cheating at. We were supposed to have been got over this shit 150 years ago. It was supposed to have been pick, pat, pat, and it's over. But every time one of us got ready to fix the problem, they murdered us. They wasn't supposed to do that, right?
That's
When
what
they
you were saying in the not to cut you off in the other video where you kept saying every person that went to go basically pretty much go for the throne, they killed them.
Yep. So they never want nobody to raise the matriarchy back up and to oust the imposters from the system, the overall system, right? So they corrupted our rites of passages. Our rites of passages used to be what we call today the Masonic Lodge. That was the royal rites of passage for the men, and the Eastern Stars, or the Daughters of Isis, was the rites of passage for either princesses and priestesses. But when they got done corrupted it, and they ascribed it to the Vadun only, and then they told us that the Vadun was the most vile and evil shit, because once you learn how to balance yourself with nature, they can't lie to you, and that shit don't work. Now you're gonna be free.
And that's pretty much them like telling us, like you just said, pretty much everything that's not evil is pretty much evil.
Right. So the way that they do things is to use our stuff and corrupt it just a little bit to get you off the path. They don't totally corrupt everything, but everything they corrupt that they touch, right?
What they can get their hands on.
The Bible or the Quran has nothing to do with the people of this land.
Say that one more time for him, big bro.
The Bible or the Quran has nothing to do with the people from this land. The colonizers came over here with a Bible to make us believe that we them people. The Bible wasn't here longer than us.
They ain't. I don't think they hearing you.
The Bible wasn't here longer than we were. We have to remember that they confess openly, without dispute and agreement across all schools of knowledge, that when the colonizer came, he came giving us the Bible.
If y'all check, man, he posted it, I think yesterday or the other day, where it show you that the Jews bought Islam over here, and that's pretty much the same. Christianity and Islam is almost one and the same.
Okay, let's go into the history of Islam and the Quran. What a lot of us don't know, when we die in the name of Allah, the so-called benevolent and so-called merciful.
You okay?
The entire Quran is a rewrite of a Greek text, right? And the Muhammad, his name ain't Muhammad. But in the Greek, some of the Greek students gonna know exactly the text I'm talking about. So the man he's tending his vineyard, right? Two so-called angels come to him, and then they said that they're gonna have to give him a message to give to the world, right? So the guy that becomes Muhammad in Islam is listening here, talking to him, and they give him a text that's written in Latin, but he speaks Greek. And they tell him to read, and he said, I can't read Latin. I read Greek. Right? So
I'm with you.
This is it's the Greek version of what became Islam. Right? All of this shit is fairy tale.
Go get some more. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, all of this is fairy tales, right? And the fairy tales that became the Quran was used by the Catholic Church. If you go through the history, you will find that Muhammad's first wife, Khadijah, which they call the mother of the righteous, was actually from the Catholic Church. She was a nun in the nunnery. But really, they're not telling you the whole story.
Because the nuns,
the nuns used to be noon priestesses.
You said that in a video on YouTube.
Right. And the noon priestesses were called the Sibyls. So when the Khadijah that they talking about was the actual rightful person, mother of the righteous is what they call her. Why they call her that? She was before their sister, not after. So by the time 1400 years come around, Islam is being established, but what they given them as the Quran, right, is a 5,000-year-old Greek story.
A trickery.
Right. So now they kill off all the Hafiz. This is raw Islamic history. The Hafiz are those who have Quran dedicated to memory.
They don't need no book, right?
Right. They got it all dedicated to memory. They tell you exactly word for word what's in the Quran. Now, under Abu Bakr, the second Caliph, who claimed himself as the first under the Sunni school of thought, Abu Bakr slaughtered all of the Hafiz. This is what they history teach. And when he slaughtered the Hafiz, he rounded up all of the Qurans and burned them. So then the $1 million question being is, where in the fuck you get a Quran from?
Had to be, like you said, had to be a made up story.
Right. So all they doing is the real message of the ones that's called Al-Murtad, which would mean defenders of the faith, which is the ones who know the old ways of the noon. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones who Muhammad was consulting. Right? And they the ones who they tell you in the Quran, Muhammad was told to go talk to the scholars. And the scriptures of old is what we call.
Say that again, it cut out. I don't know if it was just for me.
So Muhammad was told if he had any doubt about what he was given, go back and ask the scholars from the scriptures of old. Hey, Simone. And in the process of this, he go to a priest named Waraka, which is Khadijah's uncle, who teaches Muhammad the secrets of the doctrine of the noon priestesses that become known in modern times as the Sufi. The Sufi hold the secrets to the earthright rituals so that the archons won't kill everybody who know the secrets. You have to hide the secrets in different areas. So the Sufi took the rights. Now, when the women start doing the shit that the Sufi doing, they start waking up all over the world. And when all of these women start waking up all over the world, they fuck. Because the frequency of the planet automatically will start rising. And they can't vibrate to that frequency. That's why they've been having us doing bloodletting rituals, and they've been raping babies and draining adrenochrome, because all these things keep us from, we are in a continuous state of mourning and apathy.
For y'all that say good morning, understand, like we just said earlier, words have multiple meanings.
Right. So now we are mentally and emotionally distraught. We become so used to it that it no longer becomes apparent to us that we are mentally and emotionally distraught. So what do? They keep reinforcing it by continuously causing grief in our community. And that is a dervish in the Sufi order.
Why I showed that is because it just made me think of how, I can't think of, correct me, what they wear on top of their heads. The Moors. Yeah.
The feds, right.
Now
So
I know what it is.
The modern day Moors are not who they telling you they is. Now, we had to go to a conjure war with them, which means we had to play fifth dimensional galactic chess, and we had to place all of the imposter elves with the righteous babes, right? And the only way to do that is in verbal conflict, direct debate on the facts of the matter about the Moorish doctrine. So, you know, I took that shit over. I got the motherfucking receipt to prove it.
Big man walking on the land.
You dig? So once we knock all of them out of position, then we take that shit over. Right? But we can't close it yet, though. We have to keep it open. You got to keep that in mind, because if we close it, then they come at us from a different angle and we fuck because we can't see them. Because they look just like us.
But they ain't us.
But they ain't us. And this is why they kept being able to kill us. They could see what we was doing before we understood it clear enough to execute a plan. But Big Mama smarter than all them motherfuckers put together. So
Absolutely.
in the Quran, you got to say, and it say they plan and Allah plan. And Allah is the best of planners. Well, who the fuck is Allah? Allah is Allah, the moon goddess. Right?
Don't tell us that.
The moon key is the silver key of magic.
Flip on them.
You dig? So when the moon key is captured by the righteous, now all they need is the sun key, and that crosses all of the imposters out. That mean they all got an X on their ass and they don't even know it. They've been exposed by going against the righteous openly and by slave catching willfully and going against the absolute laws of the land, which is the oral tradition to proclaim your sovereign right in the public domain without the paperwork. They know they slave catching when they compel people to go fill in, file paperwork with this dead government to legitimize their claim for freedom, when the government is the fallen corporation that they use to do their dirt. So when you finally find out who own everything, and you end up with some people look like us from upstate New York.
And that what they call the Jews. What you say? The Jewish Defense League.
Yep, that's the paramilitary branch of the Anti-Defamation League. So these are what you call counter propaganda defense mechanisms, both of them, right? So anybody that try to expose them, murdered. They can control so much shit. You have to read the Jewish Onslaught in order to really understand how miserable they can make a motherfucker that worked his way up. Then you understand the power that they had behind the scenes. Now, while you got these people being racist out in the open, following the script of white supremacy, and the white supremacist script is called the Protocols of the Wise Men of Zion.
Didn't you just post this?
Yep.
Can you see the comments?
I'm looking at them.
I don't know what I did, but I can't see the comments.
It's a certain direction you got to swipe the screen. So while we doing our sovereign stand-up across the land, every woman and every man taking his own destiny in his own hand. Once we make that known by public announcement, putting it in the public domain, we no longer subject to the jurisdiction of the corporation. But as soon as we go file some paperwork with the corporation, we legitimize the illegitimate system. So it didn't knock the little brother out. It knocked him out, so I don't know if he's going to be able to show it again, but you'll be able to look at it on the replay because I'm going to save the video. Right? And so when they get done telling us all these lies get laid to waste when we can see what they is. Yep, Protocols of the Wise Men of Zion is what you call the blueprint to the execution of white supremacy. The counter, because our elders had to write a counter in order for us to match it up. The counter is written by Dr. Neely Fuller, and it's called the United Independent Compensatory Code System for Breaking the Chains of White Supremacy, right? And he also had what you call a codified word guide. And there's also another book you're going to need called The Keys to the Colors, the Word Code Racism. Right? So all these books that our elders is putting in the public domain so we can see the trap, we can see the dirty parties. All we got to do is go